What's one habit people think is normal, but you find secretly disgusting? Story 1. I'd have a shiver run down my spine anytime I was working a cashier job and an older woman pulled out money from her bra to pay for something. Edit spelling. Also WTF, didn't expect this many responses. Story 2. A lot of my coworkers think it's okay to clip their nails at their desk. Now I live in fear of a fingernail landing in my coffee, and I can't stand the sound of nail clippers. Story 3. Not really normal per se, more a result of laziness. But littering here in the UK, there's so much litter on the streets and main roadsides, it's absolutely awful. Edit spelling grammar. Story 4. Playing music on speaker on public transport. I don't know if it's classic Apple where people won't just buy cheap earphones if they can't afford lose their AirPods, but it's the worst thing ever. Story 5. Double parking. It's such a rampant problem in NYC, and it infuriates me to no end, especially when there is room for the car to have pulled over to the curb just 1 or 2 car lengths ahead of where they have chosen to stop. It ties up traffic and creates a road hazard, and it's just incredibly inconsiderate, which is the disgusting part. Honestly, how full of yourself do you have to be to just stop in the middle of traffic and think, yeah, this is alright, yuck. Story 6. I was once sharing a bag of Cheetos with a friend. Most of us know that after a bit, you get the Cheeto dust on your fingers. I watched my friend the Cheeto dust off of their fingers and then dip back into the bag. I was horrified. In an instance of sharing, the licking the Cheeto dust off of your fingers signifies that you are done snacking, no more dipping into the bag. After they did that, I just gave them the bag. I was so disgusted. Story 7. Touching the handle to the restroom exit door. When I exit, I usually get a paper towel to avoid direct contact with it, cause people like to use the restroom and not wash their hands. Story 8. Burping. Obviously everyone burps, but I know people who do it excessively, and especially people who do it on purpose. It genuinely makes my stomach turn. Story 9. Strangers, mostly elderly people who feel the need to touch my arm or shoulder when they are talking to me. It happens way more often than you think. I work in service, so I get that quite a bit from customers mostly elderly. Story 10. Letting other people know they're trying for a baby. All I hear is we're having tons of unprotected, you guys. I don't need to know, just tell me when pregnancy is underway. I'll figure out how it happened on my own. Story 11. Not shutting the up and not realizing when people just do not want to talk anymore. Like you've been talking at me for 25 minutes about your life. Letting dishes sit for days. Story 12. I was at a theme park last summer, and the amount of teenagers walking around biting their nails and with their hoodie strings in their mouths was both concerning and disgusting. Story 13. Standing instead of sitting to pee. You know perfectly well that not everything is in one tidy stream and some of it is going everywhere regardless of how good your aim is, and we both know that sometimes it isn't, plus some will sometimes splash out. Story 14. Not washing their hands after using the bathroom. 90 of people believe you should wash your hands after using the bathroom, but only 60 actually do. I don't understand how people can do that and be okay. I don't feel comfortable using my hands on anything until I'm sure my hands are clean. Story 15. Using the toilet and then leaving stains at work. I'm sure they dawn at home. Why do it at work? Sucking on your fingers after eating something, specifically sucking each one until they basically turn into prunes. Why would you want a nasty out from underneath your fingernails? WTF is wrong with people? We have napkins for a reason. Story 16. Those mukbang vids when they slurp and chew loud with a mic beside their mouth. Oh no. Or those ASMR vids where they put the slime on the mic, or like when they whisper no. Story 17. If you're cooking and tasting the food as you go, why would you directly eat from the utensils you're using to stir, or put your finger directly into the pot, or reuse the same tasting spoon? It's one thing if you're just cooking for yourself, but doing that is straight up nasty if you're cooking for other people. I see this all the time, and that's why I don't eat everybody's food. Story 18. One habit I find secretly disgusting, though many consider it normal, is when people don't cover their mouths while coughing or sneezing. It's unsanitary and rude, yet so common. Another offender, leaving the toilet seat. It's just inconsiderate. But perhaps the most cringeworthy is people not washing their hands properly after using the bathroom. Basic hygiene, folks. Story 19. People who smack their lips and slurp on their fingers to lick all the sauce off and eat with their open mouths, chewing like a horse. Always hate to see or hear them like this. Story 20. Very niche, but not washing your hair before your hair appointment, and before you get your panties in a wad. This applies to very particular services. If you know you're getting just a haircut and will be getting a shampoo before the haircut, sure, go hog wild. But there's always the one lady who shows up with 9-day-old hair who just came from hot yoga, and I worked in the garden then rolled in dog, but I hear color takes better on dirty hair. Shut up, you're just disgusting and do not respect the people who provide you a service. That's like not brushing your teeth before you go to the dentist because they're going to clean them anyway. No, you're just gross, and yes, we do talk about you to our coworkers. Story 21. When they drop a tiny amount of sauce or something on a finger and shove their whole finger in their mouth to lick it off, just wipe your hands off, dude. What the? Story 22. Yawning and not covering their mouth. I don't need to see all your dental work. My husband does this possibly on purpose now cause he knows I hate it. If I'm within arm's reach of him during a yawn, I poke him on the tongue cause he's paralyzed mid-yawn, just to make a pointless point. He hates it, so I guess that makes us even. This is how marriage works, right? Story 23. Keeping your toothbrush in the bathroom without even a cover on it. I keep mine in my room because I'm disgusted by the thought of someone taking a dump and the smelly poopy air touching my toothbrush. Our toilet also has a bit of water splashback when it flushes, and everyone keeps their toothbrush on the sink, which is right next to the toilet, and they keep them on the side closest to the toilet. I know for a fact that their toothbrushes have had pee-pee and poo-poo water touch those bristles. EUGHH. I can't stand it, it's so icky to me. Story 24. Long fingernails, fake fingernails, or fingernails that don't look sanitary. I'm sorry, I don't want your hand germs. I love a good mani, but I like mine short and natural. Grossed out also thinking of what's accumulated under your long nails there. Ugh, where have those nails been? Story 25. When people are cooking a sauce or whatever, and taste a bit off the spoon, then put it back to stir. Seen it IRL, and also on Babish's channel where he then shares the food with all the crew. Always grosses me out. Story 26. Long nails. I especially can't stand it when people making your food have super long nails. It was even worse in the days before people started wearing gloves when doing food prep. I remember some lady with like 2 acrylics making me a Subway sandwich many years ago. I still think about that sometimes, and it makes me throw up in my mouth a little. Oh. Story 27. I went to a party at a friend's house once and stayed behind to clean up with a few others. Shed had a bowl of popcorn out, and when I went to throw away the dregs of the bowl, maybe a cup of popcorn bits, they all freaked out and had me pour it back into the original bag instead. Apparently everyone but me saves the $0.50 worth of leftover popcorn pretzel chips that everyone's been sticking their hands in all night and adds it back to the original bag. Story 28. Vaping. There's just something oddly invasive and disgusting about breathing in someone's second-hand strawberry shortcake mist. Knocks me sick every time. Story 29. Drinking from a can of soda, etc., without rinsing the top of the can first. My wife thinks I'm crazy for running the tops under the faucet before cracking them open. Story 30. I am legitimately disgusted by people who smoke cigarettes. Vaping is okay, but cigarettes are just disgusting. The tar filling your lungs, the smell of the smoke that seeps into your clothes, furniture, etc., horribly nasty habit. Story 31. Living in China. So to me it's the spitting. Everywhere you go, someone is always preparing to spit the most disgusting phlegmy spit out. You literally cannot go 1 minute without hearing it. No matter how long I've been here, I will never get used to it. Story 32. Listening to their music out loud, like, just right out of their phone, rather than with headphones in public. I don't know why, but it irritates the ever-loving out of me. Story 33. Not flushing at night because it makes noise. Didn't realize people thought it was normal until I sat and listened to an entire group of grown adults talk about it. Sick to me. Story 34. This has always made me angry. I have a coworker that wipes things down with a dry cloth. I watched him clean his sandwich station with a dry cloth for a good 10 minutes. As soon as he left, I took it all apart and cleaned it properly. Story 35. Sniffling. I know it's sometimes unavoidable, but the sound drives me up a wall. I'd rather someone wipe their nose or step away for 30 seconds to blow their nose than be subjected to the sound of sniffling for 15 minutes. Story 36. Going out any time in your pajamas. I hate going to Walmart in Apple Valley, California. Pajamas, leggings and stuff. I'm afraid of being 86D from a Walmart or actually anywhere in that area for making a disgusting comment. I moved to where people actually get dressed when they leave the house. Story 37. Leaving wet dirty dishes in the sink to soak. So much ick. The partially dried food, the cold stale dirty water, the lazy partner who thinks this option was better than tackling the job right away, all of it. Add a wet dishcloth to the mix and I'm out. Story 38. When I put my turn signal when attempting to switch lanes, but drivers turn defensive instead of allowing me to safely change lanes. They accelerate instead to prevent me from cutting them off. Story 39. Not washing your legs or using your hand to bathe in place of a rag. Not washing your hands after you use the bathroom. Deep throating the chicken bone till it's clean. PPL. Not using napkins, paper towels. Story 40. This is just a personal issue for me, but I absolutely hate it when people talk to me when I'm eating. Partly it's the intrusion into what is ultimately a personal activity, but it also completely ruins the enjoyment of the food. This has become even more of an issue for me recently, as a quiet meal is just about the only joy I have left in life. Story 41. I certainly don't secretly find it disgusting, but people coughing into their hand, I hate to tell you, but that's not the magical black hole you think it is, and all of those germs are now concentrated on that hand you're probably not gonna wash and go directly touch common use things that we all have to also touch. It is baffling to me people think this is a good way to contain their coughs.